I always thought betrayal came from enemies, not your own blood. I was 26 when I found out I no longer had health insurance. I was standing in line at the pharmacy with a stack of prescriptions in one hand and a growing sense of unease in my chest. The pharmacist scanned the documents, then raised her eyebrows with a confused frown. "This says your policy was terminated 5 months ago," she said gently. I blinked. That's impossible. My parents told me I was on their plan until I turned 27. She just shook her head and handed back the paper. "You'll have to pay out of pocket $489.76. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video." I left the pharmacy with my meds half filled and my dignity in shreds. My chronic condition wasn't something I could just ignore. Without insurance, I was one missed refill away from a hospital bed. I called my parents, trying not to sound panicked. "Hey, I just found out my insurance is canceled. Do you know anything?" My mom cut me off. "Oh, honey, must be a mix-up. We'll check into it." But something in her voice was off, too smooth, too rehearsed. That night, I couldn't sleep. A gnawing instinct had me digging through every email, every document I'd ever received about coverage, and then I found it, a notification addressed to my parents from 6 months ago. They had voluntarily removed me from the policy, citing non-dependent status due to disassociation. What the hell did that even mean? I confronted them the next morning, phone shaking in my hands. "Why did you remove me?" I asked. "You lied. You said I had until 27. My dad didn't even flinch." "We needed to make adjustments," he said coldly. "Your sister got a promotion and had to relocate. Her premiums are higher. Your coverage was just inefficient." My mom chimed in, sipping coffee like we weren't discussing my ability to survive. "And you're an adult, aren't you? We figured you'd manage. You're always acting so independent." I stood there, silent, not just because of what they did, but how little it meant to them. I wasn't a child to them. I wasn't even family. I was just an expense, an inconvenience, a checkbox they happily unchecked when it suited them. Days passed, and I tried to pick up the pieces. I took extra shifts at my part-time job, trying to cover medical bills, even skipped a few doses to stretch things out. But stress has a way of cracking open every suppressed memory. I started remembering other times when they'd accidentally left me off the vacation lists, when birthday presents stopped coming while my sister's parties grew more elaborate, when they told relatives I was going through a rebellious phase, just because I didn't live the life they planned for me. I was nothing but a placeholder, a backup daughter, someone to call when the golden child was too busy or too far, and now, even that role had been erased. Then, something changed. I got a letter, an official one, from the insurance company. It said I was ineligible for re-enrollment due to inaccurate medical documentation provided at the time of policy adjustment. Curious, I requested a copy of what was submitted. When it arrived, I sat in stunned silence. They had submitted forged records, stating that I no longer required medical coverage because I had been formally declared independent, non-resident, and medically cleared of ongoing chronic conditions. Signed with my name. Faked signature. Their handwriting. That's when the pain turned to fire. They didn't just remove me, they erased me. Lied about my medical condition, falsified legal documents, all to save a few $1,000s for my sister's move-in bonus and new condo. I stared at their signatures, knowing they had made me disposable, and I knew exactly what I was going to do. But revenge wouldn't come quickly. No, it had to be patient, calculated, because if they wanted to play like I didn't exist, then I'd rise in silence until they had no choice but to beg for me. I didn't storm their house or scream down the phone. I went quiet. Quiet is more terrifying to narcissists than rage, and it gave me the time I needed. I pulled every document I could, emails, insurance papers, even the forged clearance form with my fake signature. I contacted a lawyer friend from college, someone who once told me, "If you're ever wronged in black and white, call me." Her name was Tessa. She read everything, eyes darkening with every page. "This isn't just morally disgusting," she said. "It's illegal. Fraud, falsification of medical records, identity misrepresentation. They forged your name to deny you health care. That's a felony. I sat there with tears rolling down my face, not from sadness, but from validation. For once, someone saw the truth. Not the version my parents painted, the failed daughter, the burden, but the victim of their betrayal. Tessa helped me file quietly. We didn't press charges right away. We built the case slowly, reaching out to the insurance company, pulling communication logs, tracing the forged documents to the exact date. And while she built the legal fire, I started rebuilding myself. I used the same skills they always mocked. My digital design hobby, the freelance gigs they called cute distractions, to build my own side hustle into a full-time business. I spent long nights editing, coding, networking. I turned silence into fuel. I stopped asking them for anything. I changed my number. I moved to another city. And within a year, I had what they never believed I could, a thriving brand and a small apartment of my own. Then came the knock on the door. Not mine, theirs. Tessa sent the formal notice of investigation. It was wrapped in calm corporate language, but the subtext was pure fire. Due to concerns of document fraud and medical misrepresentation, we are conducting an internal review. You are advised to retain counsel. That's when the calls started. Voicemails, texts, emails, all from my mother first. Honey, we got some kind of letter from the insurance people. Did you say something? It's probably just a misunderstanding. Call us back. Then my father. I hope you're not overreacting. These things can affect people's livelihoods, you know. We didn't mean to hurt you. We just thought you didn't need the coverage. They were sweating. I didn't respond. Weeks later, my sister reached out. The golden girl. The one they rewrote their world around. She had the audacity to say, "This is really affecting Mom and Dad's stress levels. You should think about what you're doing." As if I hadn't spent months crying in silence while rationing medication because they erased me. I blocked her. Then the story hit their social circle. Tessa had arranged for a quiet legal leak. No names, just enough information to raise eyebrows. Suddenly, friends were distancing themselves. Church groups stopped inviting them. My parents, once pillars of the community, were now whispered about in meetings and fundraisers. They hated that. More than anything, they hated losing face. That's when I got the letter. Handwritten, from my mom. "My sweet girl," it began, as if we hadn't spoken in over a year. "I'm so sorry if we made mistakes. Parenting is hard, and we didn't always know how to handle everything. But you're our daughter. We miss you. Please drop this. Let's start over." It came with a check, $10,000, a bribe wrapped in fake remorse. I tore it up. Tessa smiled when I told her, "They're panicking. That means we're almost there." And we were. Soon, the official decision came in from the insurance company. Fraud confirmed. Their access to all dependent policies was permanently revoked. They now had a record with the National Healthcare Authority, making it nearly impossible to apply for coverage on anyone else's behalf again. My mother lost her job at a private clinic she volunteered at. My father was forced to step down from a board he chaired. They were publicly humiliated. But it wasn't enough. Not yet. They hadn't begged. That came next, and when it did, it wasn't for forgiveness. It was for help. Because karma, as it often does, waited until their luck ran out. It was early morning when I saw their names flash on my phone screen again, this time from a hospital landline. I let it ring, then again, voicemail, then another. The third one I played. "Hi, it's your dad." His voice was hoarse, thinner than I remembered. "Your mother's not doing well. The stress from the investigation, her blood pressure. She collapsed. They said we need a specialist and insurance won't cover it. They said the family policy, it's gone. We don't know who else to call." And there it was, the begging. Not for love, not for forgiveness. But because the safety net they took from me was now out of their reach. I didn't answer. I didn't run to them like I used to. I sat with it. This heavy, strange mixture of sorrow and power. I wasn't heartless, but I wasn't their safety deposit box anymore. Later that week, I walked into that very hospital, wearing a coat they could never afford and confidence they never nurtured. The same nurse who once addressed me as emergency contact years ago now greeted me as Ms. Warren the sponsor. Because I hadn't come empty-handed. I had already paid the specialist, under my company name, not my own. I made sure they were treated. I made sure my mother had the best care, not because she deserved it, but because I deserved to prove that her discarded daughter didn't need revenge. She became the higher ground they never built. When I walked into her room, my mother's eyes widened. She looked older than I remembered, fragile, lost. "I didn't expect you," she said quietly. I shrugged. "You expected help, though, didn't you?" "I made a mistake," she croaked. "We didn't think it would go that far. You were always so dramatic." "No," I corrected her. "I was always just inconvenient. Until now." My father tried to speak, but I stopped him with a look. "You both faked my records. You stole my health from me. You told the system I didn't exist. And now, you need me to prove you do." They had no words. I left the folder of documents on the table. The insurance investigation, their blacklisting, the lawyer's letter confirming what they had done. "You're alive today because I paid for it," I said. "But you'll never touch me again. You're not my emergency contact. You're not even my emotional background noise. You're strangers I once knew, and forgave for myself." I turned to leave. As I stepped out of the room, the doctor approached. "She's going to make it," he said. "I know," I replied. I made sure. I walked to the elevator, heels clicking like punctuation marks against the sterile floor, each step a silent declaration. I survived what you did, and then I thrived in spite of it. Months later, I received another letter. No check this time, just an apology. One line read, "We hope one day you'll visit the home again." I wrote back 2 words. "You sold it." Because I had. After the insurance fallout, they defaulted on their second mortgage, taken out to cover their social expenses when the community turned cold. I'd quietly bought the property through a shell company. Not to evict them, but to remind them. Every time they opened the front door, the deed had my company's name on it. They'd never own my story again. In the end, I didn't scream. I didn't punish. I simply rose, higher than they ever imagined. And when they looked up for help, all they could see was the daughter they erased standing above them, not out of reach, but out of their control. That was my justice. That was my peace. And it was louder than any revenge could ever be. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video.